Peace be with you. Welcome to another Open the Book story from Cowley Team Ministry. I'm going to light our candle first. There we are. Today our story is an Easter story. It's called A Soldier's Story. Do you sometimes stand at the edge of things and watch what's happening? Like standing maybe at the edge of a football field and watching the game. Like standing at the edge of a party and watching other people dancing. Like standing at the edge of the playground and watching other children playing games. Today's story was written especially for Open the Book, based on what we read about Easter in the Bible. It imagines there was a soldier who watched everything that happened to Jesus. So let's open the book and read A Soldier's Story. A Soldier's Story. The soldier stood back while his friends mocked and made fun of Jesus. The soldier shook his head. It didn't seem right somehow. The other soldiers hit Jesus. They put a purple robe around his shoulders and pressed a rough crown onto his head. It was made of prickly thorns.
"This can't be right,"
murmured the soldier.
"This man Jesus, he hasn't harmed anyone. They say he's a good man, a teacher, someone who talks about God, someone who cares about the poor. They even say he makes blind men see and lame men walk."
And he shook his head sadly.
"What we're doing to him now, that just isn't right."
The soldier watched as Jesus was taken to the Roman governor, Pilate, to be tried. Pilate asked Jesus lots of questions, and then he called to the crowd.
"I can't find anything wrong with this man. What do you want me to do with him?"
The crowd didn't like Jesus, so they shouted,
"Crucify him! Let him die!"
"Why?"
asked Pilate.
"What crime has he committed?"
But the crowd just shouted all the louder,
"Kill him! Crucify him!"
"Why?"
Pilate shouted back.
"Tell me why you want him to die."
"Because he says he is God's son."
They yelled.
"Kill him?
Said the soldier to himself, shaking his head.
That can't be right."
The other soldiers made Jesus carry his heavy cross through the streets to the hill outside the city wall. There they nailed his hands and his feet to the cross, and they left him there to die in the hot sun.
"Father, forgive them.
Jesus prayed.
They don't understand what they're doing."
At last, Jesus died. The sky went dark, and the earth shook.
"What on earth is happening?"
Muttered the soldier to himself.
"I don't understand all of this, but I know something is just not right."
He shook his head in disbelief. Jesus' friends were heartbroken. They took his body down and they wrapped it carefully in a linen cloth. Then they laid it in the tomb, a rough cave in a garden. The entrance to the cave was sealed with a huge, heavy stone. The friends walked home with sad hearts. It seemed like the end of everything. The soldier watched from a distance, and then he took his place guarding the tomb. He leaned on the heavy stone and gave it a shove. Nothing. It wouldn't move a millimetre.
At least he can rest in peace,
he said to himself, and he settled down for the night. For 2 whole nights, everything was peaceful for the guards at the tomb. When the sun rose on the 3rd day, the soldier rubbed his sleepy eyes and then jumped in amazement. The stone, it had gone, it had rolled away. The soldier peered into the tomb. The body had gone. It had disappeared.
This can't be right,
the soldier cried as he backed away from the tomb, shaking his head. When he looked back, he saw 2 shining figures moving around inside the empty tomb.
This can't be right.
He gasped.
The tomb was definitely empty. Who are they? What are they? Could they be angels?
Then he noticed a woman. She was crying by the tomb.
Why are you crying?
Asked one of the angels.
Jesus has been taken away,
She sobbed.
and I don't know where he is.
Why are you looking in a graveyard for someone who is alive?
Came the reply. Hiding nearby, the soldier gasped. Jesus? Alive? Then the soldier heard another voice. So did the woman. She heard her name.
Mary,
The soldier watched as Mary recognised the voice.
Master!
She cried, running to meet Jesus.
stop. Don't touch me.
Said
But
Jesus.
go back and tell the others that I've come back to life, just as I said I would.
The soldier couldn't believe his eyes. Then he remembered what the crowd had said.
He says he is God's son.
Couldn't be right. Could it? Could Jesus really be God's son?
But I've seen it with my own eyes. He is alive.
Said the soldier to himself. After that, many people saw Jesus alive again, and many believed he really was God's own son. The end. The soldier didn't understand why Jesus was being treated so badly. He hadn't done anything wrong. It wasn't until he saw Jesus alive again that he started to understand. In our story, that soldier wasn't happy about the bad things that were happening to Jesus. In his heart, he knew that it wasn't right. Close your eyes for a moment and think about a time when your heart told you that something wasn't right. Now I'm going to say a prayer, and if you want to make it your prayer, you can say Amen at the end after me. Dear God, if our hearts tell us that something isn't right, help us to know what to do about it. Amen.